Thank you.
You're welcome.
Which character do you like good more? Young John or Young John?
Michael.
Michael in the Bob.
Michael, for sure. Why?
It was an honor to play Young John, you know, to try to follow in the footsteps of this, great actor Jeffrey, and try to even bring anything remotely close to what he did with the characters and how he interacted with the boys was I felt blessed, but come on, like, Michael, like.
So give us a lot preview right now.
Wait, what?
Give us like a lot of preview of Michael. Like it was like an impersonation of it.
Oh, an impersonation of Michael? Oh man. Do this one, right? You can't fight City Hall. Look, honestly, to play Michael, I mean, to play two characters is, that's like the most amazing thing you could ever wish for as an actor. Especially to play Michael, who is God's sidekick. Like, you know, kind of important little guy who just snaps his fingers and you're gone, and I'm gonna touch your forehead and you're out of here, and what's next? All right, there goes your darling little Sammy right back to his life. I honestly, it was Michael. I would love to come back as either one of the two, but Michael.
Thank you. So, man, I haven't abandoned you. We're back here in the cheap seats. I feel like, you know, they're getting short shrift. They're not seeing it. Why don't you join me back here? I think we'll still be taking questions. We'll be back here. So why don't we get that question right over there? You get that. The one dressed like Misha. You. What's your question? No, you can ask in the microphone. I gotta hear you.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you. What were your first impressions of your posters, like Jensen, Misha, and Jared, and of each other?
What was our first impression of Jared and Jensen?
And Misha and of each other.
Well, I'll answer the Matt thing. Matt and I met on conventions. We didn't meet on the show. And I think one of the first things we did was that. We danced together. And then, there he is. Our first interaction was hosting karaoke parties, I think. Pretty much.
I think enough said there.
Done. I mean,
sign me up on that contract. I'm going to be part of the Richard karaoke show for the rest of my life.
Oh, please. Karaoke extravaganza. As far as meeting Jared and Jensen, I'll answer first and Matt will take it. Those guys it's their show, so they set the tone of how that show is run. If they're unfriendly, then the show has an awkward energy. They're the nicest, most welcoming guys you can work with. They have an enormous workload. They work every day, back to back, 22 episodes, carrying the entire show on their back. And it does not stop them from being warm and gracious to guest stars who appear on their set every week. It's a phenomenal place to work, and they are gentlemen about how they go about their business.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Richard on that one. I kind of wish that question was asked why the guys were in here, because
we could have really stuck up to them.
I know, up my chances of coming back to Michael. No, but just a quick example of kind of what Richard said is like, you know, you have these two guys that carry this show. They work all the time. When I stepped onto that set, you know, they handed me a script similar to what they did with Richard and Gabriel. They were like, hey, you know, you're reading the script and you're like, oh, young John, Michael. Okay, now you got to come up with a different character. And I hadn't seen, which should probably be no surprise to you guys at this point, I hadn't seen Jared's portrayal of Lucifer when we were shooting the episode of Michael. So I kind of came into it playing very similar to how Jared played Lucifer, a little darker version of Michael. And Jensen literally sat with me during lunch, showed me Jared's stuff, and we brainstormed, and he really helped direct me into that final portrayal of Michael. And you know, that's 5 seasons later, that's how much they care about each and every episode. That's why you guys love the show, because they care so much. So, you know, it's a great, great work experience to be there. Cast and crew, for sure.
Well, for the one of our Nashcon Collins. Nashcon Collins. Incredible butthole. I mean, absolute jerk. Selfish, mean. I think he stole my lunch money one day. Like, it's astonishing. Anyway, next question. Thank you.
My question is actually about the Jumping for Heroes thing you're doing.
The Jumping for Heroes, okay?
Is there any pre-prep you're doing in order for jumping out and playing?
Is there anything? The Jumping for Heroes is a tie-in to Band of Brothers. Major Dick Winters, the real man, who was the leader of Easy Company, passed away a few months ago. And there is a movement afoot to build him a monument in Normandy. Yeah, very deserving. So, they're raising money. One of the ways they're raising money is they're doing a jump. The actors, they're doing 2 jumps, one in England and one in the United States. Jumping out of an airplane, the actors are, to raise money. People can sponsor the various actors, the various shoots. And you're sponsoring the actors who jump, and that's all that money's going to go to help build this monument. The question is, am I doing anything to prepare for it? I bought adult diapers.
And you will need them, I speak from experience.
Because I've never jumped out of a plane, quite frankly. When I'm in a plane, I like to stay on it. I like somebody else to land it and get off. So this will be very different. But you know, you can't, having played a member of the 101st Airborne, and by the way, any military personnel in the house tonight? Round of applause for the people in uniform. If you are a fireman, policeman, military, or school teacher, you have my utmost unrivaled respect and admiration. And for the military, you can't play an airborne soldier who jumped out of an airplane. For most of those guys in World War II, they'd never been on an airplane until they were learning to jump out of one. You can't play that and then weaning out of actually doing it yourself. So there's really no exit strategy except for to get on the damn thing and jump out. And that's the plan. So wish me luck.
Thank you.
That's why I'm just going to be out here if you need me.
Alright, so I run a
You what? For rare pairings. Rare pairings. Okay.
So I have a question, and I'm curious. How many of the demigods did Loki sleep with?
How many of the demigods did Loki sleep with? I think I might let you answer that yourself on the long term. I know he had a fling with Conley, because who wouldn't? But beyond that, I can't say I've done that kind of character research. You obviously have. How do you dirty up